Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about an Adrian Newey revelation and update following an F1 driver being axed, as well as Williams launching its livery. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram and X at James's Pit Lane. I'll leave links in the description. But let's jump straight into the video. So let's start with Williams, and well, they've revealed their 2026 livery. The real car is still under wraps, we haven't seen that yet, but yeah, you can see the 2026 livery on screen now. And while the livery is close to those of previous years, with Williams of course keeping the blue theme, however there are some differences on the 2026 livery. For starters, there's a prominent white colouring across the side pod and rear wing, and the side pod also carries the cyan blue of Barclays, with which Williams announced a partnership on Tuesday morning, and that sponsorship is also visible on the rear wing. Now I think the livery looks really nice. I think those small changes really do make the car stand out. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Now as we know, Williams were not present at last week's Barcelona shakedown. So yeah, that has put Williams on the back foot, and although Williams team principal James Vowles is confident that the team will make up for the lost ground over the 6 days of running ahead in Bahrain before the season's first race in Australia, he says the pain of missing Barcelona will ultimately drive further long-term change, with him saying, as quoted by Sky F1, "I don't believe that after 6 days of testing in Bahrain we will be on the back foot. A little bit of that is fortune, because both the Mercedes power unit and gearbox were reliable, and the virtual track test flushed out a lot of the demons that were buried in the car. So we can mitigate missing Barcelona, but this will never happen again, because we are going to dig into it properly and make sure we learn from all of the issues, and there is not one but quite a few of them. That is the process. You have to deal with the failure, and you have to let the pain of that failure drive change." But let's move on to Aston Martin. As we know, they were late to testing in Barcelona, but when that car eventually left the garage, it did turn a lot of heads. It was a very aggressive design by Adrian Newey, and this is the first Aston Martin he has designed. And now Newey has finally spoken about the 2026 Aston Martin, and interestingly, he says the car started on the back foot. You wouldn't think that when you look at the car that left the garage, but yeah, Newey feels the car was on the back foot. Now, as we know, Newey started work with Aston Martin in March 2025, with his full focus on 2026 rather than anything on 2025, but the 2026 project could not fully start immediately as the team waited for its new wind tunnel, and Newey said the AMR Technology Campus is still evolving. The wind tunnel wasn't on song until April, and I only joined the team last March, so we've started from behind. In truth, it's been a very compressed timescale and an extremely busy 10 months. The reality is that we didn't get a model of the 26 car into the wind tunnel until mid-April, whereas most, if not all of our rivals, would have had a model in the wind tunnel from the moment the 2026 aero testing ban ended at the beginning of January last year. That put us on the back foot by about 4 months, which meant a very compressed research and design cycle. The car only came together at the last minute, which is why we were fighting to make it to the Barcelona shakedown. Now the good news is that Aston Martin did some mileage during testing. I mean, on the last day, on Friday, the team did 61 laps with Fernando Alonso, so they've got some good data that they can go over. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to see how Aston Martin perform in Bahrain testing. But let's move on to Jack Doohan. Now, as we know, he made his Formula 1 debut with Alpine at the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and went on to compete with Alpine in the first 6 races of 2025. However, he was dropped from the 7th round onwards for Franco Colapinto, who Alpine had signed from Williams, and Doohan did not get back into a race seat but continued in a reserve role for Alpine. But then Alpine announced the two parties had split at the start of 2026, freeing Doohan up to complete deals elsewhere. And while Doohan is staying in the Formula 1 paddock, with him securing a reserve role at Haas. And speaking about signing Doohan, team principal Ayo Komatsu said, "I'm personally very excited to have Jack join us on the team, given the strength of his racing resume and of course his experience in being a reserve driver in Formula 1. The dedication required to remain sharp and prepared to race while getting to know how the team works and so on. It's challenging for any driver, especially one who's obviously still very keen to race again at this level. I've enjoyed getting to know Jack, and we're looking forward to welcoming him into the team and benefiting from his contributions." Now, I think this is a good move for Doohan. I mean, you never know. Ollie Bearman, who is part of Ferrari, could end up driving a Ferrari in the near future. That would open up a seat at Haas, and well, Doohan could fill it if he performs well in that reserve role. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care.